And we're back with episode 28 of Brentocast, riding down the road on 2427, heading toward the small town of Baden, North Carolina, where I like to spend my mornings sometimes, occasionally picking up coffee from Baden Coffee and hanging out by the lake. There's just something about a large body of water that energizes you and cheers you up, I find. Not that I'm a depressive person, but I gotta tell you guys some sad news. Yesterday, my beast mode PC died. Well, died is not the right word, I guess. I knew that I had to relocate it from one side of the room to the other, basically because of where I have my photo shooting area, and I'm going to be photographing these puppets for the Bill Herman Conservatory. And I have a power brick like you're supposed to, meaning like one of those power units where if your power goes off, your computers don't suddenly lose power, because that's really bad for the components. Well, I was very cautious and unplugged everything, slid everything across the floor. The power unit never turned off, I don't think, and I was only unplugged from the actual power in the wall for like 5 to 7 minutes. When it came back on, everything seemed to come back on fine with the computer, but it would not output video. I messed with it, and this has happened to me before with this PC since the main power button went out and I had to start using the reset button to restart it. It would get confused about the video card sometimes. Well, couldn't get it fixed. Called the guy out from URA Technology that always works on my stuff. He gets out there and he's like, I don't understand how this is happening. He started taking stuff out, unplugging things to see if it was the video card, and apparently the board must have some sort of RAM on it, because he took the RAM out to check that, and the board, it actually booted up without the RAM in, which is impossible. So apparently it has like on the motherboard memory of some sort, but that motherboard has always been kind of suspect for me since I started having the original problems with the power switch, because first they thought it was the power unit. It wasn't that. They took it completely apart, cleaned it, put it back together. Now, I will say that this is the machine that my friend Larry, when he was doing the sheetrock downstairs, we did not realize that the old central air system would spit out the dust upstairs. So I had this PC completely covered in sheetrock dust, which is horrible for it. And that is just an eventuality that I absolutely just had to deal with, and had it professionally cleaned and all that, taken apart, but still, it's just remained dusty. And even now, like after having cleaned it, which it was never 100% clean, I noticed that the salt cave, when it tends to get out, it gets into that system. And salt is conductive, so it's horribly corrosive for computers. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to prevent my new machine from encountering that, other than perhaps closing off the vents upstairs, which you hate to do, because that's your heating and your cooling. So maybe there's a solution with putting some sort of filter over the top of those vents. I don't know, but yeah. So I was generally bummed when those guys came and worked on it, couldn't fix it, and I realized, well, I always try to. I mean, guys, I spend a lot of money on computers because I have to have a fast computer that will render quickly. Now, this machine I think cost me around $2,400 just over 3 years ago, and I always shoot for 4 years. If I could it's like buying a car that you have to buy it, to operate, and then it's going to be 4 more years you're going to be paying for it. Anyway, so I was really kind of bummed about that. Now, of course, I have backups and have a tablet, have phones, have a laptop just for administrating the site that I can do a lot of my work on. Like, for example, these HDRIs that I make, I can still make it on that. It just takes longer. I can render the promos on that. It just takes longer. And I've become accustomed to things moving fast. And when you're in the fast lane and somebody throws like a governor on your engine, you can only go 35 miles an hour, that is a drag and a depression. So by the end of yesterday, we had determined what to do. Those guys were like, so they think they can take the hard drive off and, perhaps just salvage the video card for a future custom build. But I don't really usually do custom builds, because the video card is a really nice one. It's a GeForce RTX, I don't remember the number, RTX 80 maybe. But potentially I could build a computer with it later if I wanted to custom build a PC. But, like I said, I like to buy the pre-bought systems that have had the software burned in. That's what they call burned in. Basically, they just run these stress tests to make sure there's no conflicts and everything's working the way it's supposed to. Well, anyway, long story short, after I bought my PC years ago, Liam, like a year later, bought one that was way faster, way more memory, way more powerful for about, actually a couple $100 less than I paid for mine. So I was like, man, computer hardware has really, really changed, and it has as far as the price. So I was like, well, I'm going to buy Liam's next time. And then, this all happened. I go look at Liam's computer, and I realize, well, heck, if I bought mine with a souped-up video card, it would be the same price as if I bought Liam's with the same video card. So it's really bizarre. There's always different configurations out there, but sometimes what looks like the best deal isn't. And, I just don't like going through it. I don't like buying hardware because it's instantly depreciated as soon as you get it. I digress. I went ahead and purchased it, and that's like a $240 a month payment for 12 months, and that's depressing, when you had it and now you don't have it. And then it didn't even seem like catastrophic, like the computer was still coming back on. So it just feels like there's a configurational thing, and if my hardware guys were more brilliant, they could fix it, but they're not, and they can't. So there you go. And I don't mean to blame them. I mean, that's just from my lay person perspective, not really knowing what the deal is. So anyway, that was the sad reality of yesterday, and we ended up taking Delilah out, picked her up at school. So now her school they're trying some shenanigans basically to get us to purchase 5 days a week for her, which I'd like to, but that's really expensive, guys. And she is just in preschool, and as much as I want to prepare her for kindergarten, I do not want to keep her from having the fun that she should not normally have, at 3.5 years old, and the carefree days that she should normally have at 3.5 years old. So I think in an effort to get us to switch from 2 days to 5 days, they basically moved her days. They said, we've had a full-time student come and take her spot in this day, and we always have to prioritize full-time. That's the money. So they moved her into a class. Class is a loose term because basically, the age group that they moved her into, a 2-year-old group, and they're just little babies, and she's basically just playing with them all day, which she loves, but she's not doing those skills things. So that basically devalues what we had been paying for, and it costs the same thing. They don't see a problem with this. I see a problem with it. And then we were talking about potentially moving her to another location, like 5 minutes further down the road. First, they were like, yeah, we can do that. And we said, well, I'm not sure we want to do that and all this. So they moved her to Fridays, messed up her gymnastics schedule because, that coincides with her being at gymnastics at a certain time. And, we're just trying to roll with that right now. Well, now they've said if we move her to New London, she needs to be full-time. And so it's all about just getting that full-time money out of us, and it's just super, super obvious. So I can't be too happy about being treated that way, because that is just not the way to do business, in my humble opinion. But it is what it is. What are you going to do? Anyway, yesterday I went and got her at 3:15 or so, picked her up, and she was excited to see me like she always is. And we go and take her to gymnastics, and this time she actually said, I don't want you to go to the car, I want you to watch me. Okay, so I did. But anyway, there were two girls taking place of Miss Dee, her regular teacher. And Miss Dee, I guess, was gone to watch her kids. And I like how they start off having them call people like properly, Miss So-and-so, Miss that. And they call the girls, if they don't call them by their name, they call them friends. I think that's really cute. And you talk about cute. I mean, all these girls are like between 2.5 and 3, and they're just cute as a button. They all of them are, and they're just different personalities. You can see starting to emerge. Some of them are real precocious, wave at their parents and hey mama all the time, and others are just like more like follow along. And Delilah's right in the middle of the bunch. She just likes having fun, and it's basically like organized play. But anyway, I watched the part that was in the other. I was gonna say, when we walked in we were there, like maybe we were on time, but they started a little bit early, so the door is closed. Well, she opens the door to walk in there in the little room that they start warm up in, and she sees that her teacher's not there, and she starts backing out. They're like, no, it's okay. And she thought she was in the wrong place, which I found to be kind of funny. But anyway, she had a great time, and I watched her out there. And then when we got her, what did we do? We went to City Lake Park. Well, as I get there, we get out, we're playing, and it's a little on the nippy side. She is basically in play mode, but like wanting to play, not like I expected. I expected her to play on the playground, and this time she's wanting to interact and do hopscotch and all that. Well, the guys call from the PC place, and I'm trying to have a conversation with them. Well, there's two of those guys on the line, and it gets confusing real fast, and trying to manage Delilah with one hand. So she's like, hold me up here, let me swing on this thing. And she wants to swing on the contraption that's like a big oversized steering wheel that you hold onto and it rotates. And we did that, and I'm holding her, like just kind of keeping a hand on her, and I go to pick her up, and she lets that thing go, and it swings about 4 inches and hits me right on the bridge of the left eyebrow. And man, it's sore today. That really hurt. And it's all I could do not to drop her. It hurt bad. About took me to my knees. But it takes a lot to take Johnny Brento to his knees. So I was like, ooh, we're not doing that again. But anyway, that's where we figured out. So I actually went ahead and made the order of the PC right then and there. And so it's on the way. I should get it next Friday or potentially the Monday after. And so for this week, I am on slower mode, working with the laptop. But I've lately been uploading a lot of video because I now have Google Fiber. Yay! Oh my gosh, I can't tell you guys, I can't say enough good things about Google Fiber. It is what the internet should be. Upload and download are the same, and it's over 400 megabits per second. So you can upload a 4 gigabyte file, and usually it'll be uploaded before you get the description filled out and whatever site you're uploading at. So that's incredible, and I'm focusing on archiving video. I did notice last night after I got up in the middle of the night like I always do to let Beauty out, and I was watching a little bit of my YouTube channel, and just because now YouTube has implemented this automatic caption generation, which is amazing. You used to have to do that stuff by hand or semi-automated with Premiere and set it all up and have a separate file and all that. None of that now. It just automatically does it. So I'm watching my old blogs, and I'm realizing that pretty much from the time Delilah was 1 year old, I started doing a weekly vlog, and I didn't miss many weeks. So we can literally watch her progression from age 1 through now and just see the change from week to week to week. And, that's funny because like last week when we went up and visited Bill, I didn't see Delilah for like 4 days. And literally to my eyes, it looked like she had grown a little bit. And that's just the magic of, raising a little kid up. And now she's going to be 4 in a few months, and then it's just 1 more year. Really, you only have little kids for 5 years, guys, and if you can't find the time to be with them and do make those special memories, you're just not going to get them. And that's a little bit sad. And I know a lot of people, it's entirely circumstantial. They can't help that because of their jobs. But I'll just say that it is a beautiful morning today. I'm here at the recreation area at Baden Lake, looking across the little inlet at the birds on the point out there, and they are just absolutely covering it. There's 3 state troopers sitting over there right now, I guess chit-chatting, and I want to go over there and take some photographs, but I'm not going to do it while those guys are there. Hey, what's this suspicious looking bearded fellow over here? Let's go check him out. No, thank you. I'm actually in Baden to take some photographs. I did upgrade my 360 camera, so I skipped 2 or 3 generations. You guys know I'm into making the 360 cameras. The first one I got was the first Theta cam from a company called Insta360. Eventually, I ended up scratching that, and I bought 2 more of those, so I bought a total of 3 Theta cams to make 360s, which I turn into these little HDRI products for Daz Studio, and I sell them on Renderosity. And as the technology has gotten better, it makes the product better, and I've had some success selling those. And but really, it's just a fun hobby. I mean, I take a lot more than I actually put out as products, just for my own usage or just my own entertainment. And that graduated those 3 Theta cams, which the reason I got 3 is because they kept falling over, because I would not weight my tripod or hold it, trying to get like a cleaner shot that I didn't have to edit as much, because it was more of a pain having to clone out stuff having to clone out, imperfections then. But nowadays with Photoshop, basically it's just highlight the area you want to fill in and do like a smart content replace. So it's very easy. But that wasn't the case back then. So I would always try to find a way to set it on the tripod. Well, with the wind blowing and things like that, it would fall over. And the design of that camera, the lens on both sides is exposed. And once you scratch it, and then you got to edit that scratch out every time and try to clone it out and make it look like it wasn't there. And what a pain. So I ended up buying 3 of those and scratched 2 of them. And the third one, I was just like, darn it, I'm not even going to risk this. So I came up with a new method whereby I would just squat down below the tripod, and that worked pretty good, and I would never drop the camera, so I still have that third one, but I gave 1 or 2 of them away because I didn't need 3 of them. And the ones with scratches, hey, somebody else can still use that. They're just going to have that little scratch on it, but for my purposes it was annoying. So then I actually graduated to something called the Insta360 RS1, which is a modular camera. The idea being if you break a part of it, scratch a lens, you can just buy that component and reassemble it. And that was a great idea, I thought. But then as they began to upgrade, they made different batteries and different base units so that you basically, if you wanted to go to the next camera, you still had to buy a whole new camera. Not too cool. So I still use the RS1. I find it to be the best camera that I've got for taking 360 video. And of late, I have started posting 360 video on YouTube because YouTube has a native player. So if you share that 360 video, as long as you're sharing it from YouTube, they can play the 360 and turn the camera in any which way they want. So I'm going to start trying to use this more with Delilah so people can look around the scene like a memory, which is kind of cool. And also if you're in VR, by the way, and you do that, it's just your headset. So whichever way you're looking. So that's super cool. But anyway, I don't know if that functionality exists in YouTube as it is right now, but I think it will exist if VR continues to develop. And you can certainly look left and right with the controller. But I watched several of those last night, and they're cool. I got stuff from the studio. I'm going to start doing that in the studio. And it's just you have to set a power bank next to it so it doesn't run out of battery power if you're going to be filming for longer periods of time. And that works with time lapse as well. So imagine if you're sitting at a Bowers Foreman session and we're going to be recording all the parts on 2 songs. I could put the camera on a tripod, have the power brick taped to the thing that holds it, and then play that or record like up to, I can do 1 frame per second, which I think is a smoother experience, and I'm going to start using that, even though I have been going with every 30 seconds or every 10 seconds or whatever. I'm learning more frames equals smoother time lapse, but it's a time lapse, but you can look at whatever you want to look at. If there's multiple people, you can pick a person and look at them, or turn around and see what's happening behind the camera. And I just find that experience really cool. And it's all about memories. I mean, none of us live forever, and a lot of people don't have these amazing media tools that will let you look back at a moment in time and see it from a different angle than you actually saw it when you were living it. So that's kind of very Matrixy and Enemy of the State. If you ever saw that film, that actually had predictive technology in it, which came to pass. So that's crazy. But anyway, having a lot of fun with that right now. And the plan for today is to shoot more of these HDRIs with the new camera. So I failed to mention I finally upgraded. I skipped the X2, the X1, the X2, and the X3. Although I almost bought the X3 because of the price tag. And supposedly the X3 takes 71 megapixel photos, which is crazy. I don't know why you would need that many megapixels. But what I ended up doing is I skipped over that one, and I got one. Well, actually, it just came out, so skipped over is not the right terminology. Between the X2 and the X3, they released something called the Insta360 RS1 1-inch 360. Means it has a larger sensor and big Leica lenses on it, which take not a higher megapixel photo, but a better photo with just better accuracy and sharpness all around, and it makes a much better looking HDRI. Now, even using the RS1, I have discovered that with like AI upscaling, I can still make a bigger file if I want to have a larger one. And people tend to think that 8K is what they want, but in my experience, 4K is actually perfect. So the native file size on these cameras that I'm using now is about 6.5K. So to me, that's a lightweight HDRI, doesn't bog your machine down, looks great. If you know how to use a HDRI and mess with the settings, you can really get some good results from it. So I've been using that, and unlike with the RS1, you don't get that purple artifacting that tends to happen with stuff in the distance, like tree limbs way in the distance. But anyway, I've been having great results with this new camera, and I've only shot a few, and I've only released a single product that has used it, but man, I think it looks great. So I'm just going to keep on doing that as a hobby, and I just need to convert more of these hobbies into actual money making things in this 3D realm, just so that I don't, not to make actual bank, but to not have to spend my own money on the things that I do purchase. And I still have a terrible buying habit. I kept saying I wasn't going to graduate to the next base figure because it wasn't needed, but then doggone it, I did, and I'm a completist. So I've been buying a lot of stuff for Genesis 9, which I barely use, frankly, because there's just no reason to. It's more work to use it. It doesn't really look any better unless you're trying to produce a super high resolution close-up shot of skin on a figure, in which case, yes, it does look better because it has 8K maps, but I don't work at those resolutions, typically speaking. So anyway, the move for today is to make some HDRIs, which I'm about to start doing right here. Then I guess I'm going to swing by and get me a coffee at Baden Coffee. And I guess the idea is I will be just continuing to do things I can do on the laptop for this week, and hopefully have a new machine in to start back with the heavy powerlifting stuff. I have so many projects in motion. Of course, the Bill Herman Conservatory being a big deal, and I want to be prepared when we go back up there in February or March to get the last of the puppets and take all the final photos of Bill's homestead. I want to have a game plan. I want to really know how to use this new 360 camera, because I just want to capture the whole experience and the whole thing. And I want to know how to do virtual tours, which is kind of why I went ahead and got this camera, thinking that I might get into that as a sideline as well, because they have softwares out there that take the output of these 360 cameras and make some very slick virtual tours. So all that remains to be seen, but as always, trying to move ever forward. There's no point in being depressed, guys. I mean, it's just a waste of time. You're here for as long as you're here. You might as well have as good a time as you possibly can. I mean, like in my case, I worry about being fat. Oh, I need to lose weight, need to look a little better, need to dye the beard, not look so craggly or whatever. But at the end of the day, you just got to be happy, man. You got to be happy with yourself. Find something that makes you happy. Of course, hanging out with Delilah makes me happy, but I want to produce art, and the music is going great right now. And, it's funny. I talked to Todd last night, and it even all the things that are against it, I still have ambition and belief that there could be an Absolute Zero reunion of sorts where we could get the band back in shape and either do a live record or a new record with the original members plus Harrison. I don't know. I know Bush has had some health issues. He's 10 years older than us. But I would like to do that while there's still time. And I want to include Bush as well. I mean, I know he does not get the credit of being a songwriter like a lot of us, but his drumming actually was a big part of the sound too. And I want to give him credit for that, and I'd love to include him in it. I just need to reach out to him. I ran into him, and we had a nice conversation. I mean, it wasn't any animosity, I don't think. Just kind of catching up with him. And Todd is the problematic one right now, because a lot of that is circumstantial with his mother being in the sad state of health that she's in. He's kind of tied to home, and he was supposed to go with me to the Bill retrieval, but he didn't. He found an excuse not to go, and I kind of thought that's how that would go. But I still think there's a moment in time when we could put that band temporarily back together and do either a show or an album. it would be cool. Be a nice way to, because we get great video of it. It'd be a nice way to punctuate it. I'm a better player and singer now than I ever was when I was in that band. Although there is one performance that I recall that I actually stumbled across when I was archiving video. I actually re-uploaded it to make sure I had the original. It was us playing for an almost 2 hour set at Harmanco's, and we were, I only seemed to know a minor pentatonic scale at the time, and but the guitar sound, the bass sound, the drums, everything was, we were really tight. I was like really kind of amazed. I listened to the whole thing the other day, and it was super fun. We were, full of ourselves, no doubt about it. But it was super fun, and at that time there were no bands like that. I don't know that there are now. And it was a great show, and I really enjoyed that. I missed that Harmanco's, they have a music scene now, and when I was managing the music over there and booking dates, they definitely had a scene, but I've never thought it sounded as good in the big new Edition room as it sounded over in the smaller stage area. And I really wish they'd go back to that someday, but I don't really have any influence. But I've made my thoughts on that known to the owner. I was like, hey, you guys had a much better sounding stage over here, and it was just thick with people. People just would come to hear the music, and now the music is an afterthought. That big room, it's so boomy, it comes off annoying and loud. I don't know. I mean, sonic reality is that you just can't take loud instruments in a hard-walled room with little to break the sound up. You're just going to get a wash, and that's kind of what the music experience is like there now, sadly. But it is what it is, man. Either they'll work it out like they're working it out, or maybe the music scene goes away. I don't know. I know playing music live now in this region, I have a great place that has me, and I'm thankful for that, and I love playing there. But as far as playing in a pure bar room, I mean, again, I'm not doing that to sell beer, per se. I want to entertain, but mostly I want to have a good time playing my music, and that's why I'm not too picky about the money, but I know a lot of people are, and COVID really jacked things up, man. Restaurants are just trying to make it right now, so they can't get somebody to wait a table correctly. You think they're going to stress on trying to have a budget to pay a good performer? I don't know. Those are my thoughts. And I am average. I don't put myself out there as being like somebody like Braden that can really entertain on that level. For me, it's about, sharing my songs and just a few covers, So, but there are some great players that I've seen there that I'm like, I know they didn't get their rate there because it's just not possible. Otherwise, the people would be coming out of pocket and, not getting that money back. And as a business owner, you don't want to ever do anything that's going to cost you money. Unfortunately, to try new things, sometimes you have to do that. But wow, why am I talking business? This is the Brentocast, y'all. I am currently uploading I think I uploaded all of the video casts that had video to go with them originally when I was like running the video camera as I did the recording, and I may start doing that again because it's kind of funny, and especially when I do these in my car. By the way, apologies for the last episode where I just kept getting my mouth too close to the phone and it kept popping, but that was with Nancy, and I was driving a 10-hour trip, so you'll forgive me for that, hopefully. But yeah, everything moves on, and we're on to the next thing. We're approaching 30, and I'm thinking of capping season 1 at 30 and just calling it 30 episodes a season, regardless of when in the year. I mean, ideally, I'd like to have, 52 episodes in a season, but that's not the way things work out. Or I could do them by the year. I don't know. What do you guys think? Hit me up in the comments. Brentocast is on iTunes now, by the way. Finally figured all that out and got the Spreaker software to work with iTunes, setting everything up, so that should be out. And I still want to do VHS Graveyard, but the time has not presented itself, so that hasn't happened yet. But anyways, hope you guys have a great week, and we'll catch you in the next one.